fans, welcome back to another after show here after Demo 1 at the last great Coliseum, Bristol Motor Speedway. I'm Steve Bucknam, with me, Jeff Hobbs, and our guest to start things off, Jon Mewes, Team NLR, the first ever light division $100,000 team champion. Is it real for you yet?
Not really. So when I jumped out of the car, it felt like any other derby I've ever been in. You know, you don't realize that you're battling between 100 grand and 20, you know what I mean? But once I got back to the pits, got everything loaded, it kind of settled in, you know, biggest win of my life. So
coming to a national stage, people know who you are. They know who your team is. They know who Bob Whitaker is. They know more now. Bob, and I'm going to steal Steve's thunder, Bob called you a wild card.
Yep.
To this guy, day one. You turned out to be the guy who carried the mail, one of my favorite things. You did it, that 5X car. You went against a really good animal today in that SRDB group. Talk us through that heat. I'm sure we'll see some highlights, but just how that car ran and your teammates.
Well, all day today we just kept reading, we're the underdogs, we're the underdogs, we're the underdogs. And I agree, we probably were. You know what I mean? We didn't have the nicest looking cars for the weekend, and I just kept telling myself, four wheels, motor and tranny, drivetrains win derbies all day. We just got to get that Cadillac out, and then I got to work on bronze. And I said, if we can get that down, I think we got this. And when I seen the caddy wheels start laying over, I was like, all right. But then it got halfway through, I was like, hey, there's just no way we ain't going to be able to do this. And then pretty soon I was like, all right, we might be able to do this again. So it definitely was some ups and downs. And at the end of the day, it was a little faster heat than probably normal people would do for, you know, when you're going for $80,000 difference. So, but I didn't even let that set in that it was just another derby for me. So
that may have been part of the key to your success, you know, being in that mindset, not letting those jitters or that adrenaline sort of get to you.
Yeah.
And from a spectator's standpoint and a commentator's standpoint, trying to analyze the situation, told you off camera, I was incredibly impressed with your driving strategy and style today. The fact that you were able to just continue to keep moving and drive through hits so that you could keep that momentum and not get stopped, I think that was really the difference between success and failure today.
Agreed. And then as I'm driving through, I'm trying to look to see where the next, you know, there's sometimes you're getting drove up the rear and you don't even know they're coming, you know, but You're trying to always keep your head on a swivel. At one point I had my helmet fly off. Yeah, and I didn't even think twice about it. I grabbed the helmet out of the back seat, and I was going for a wheel already. I wasn't like stopping to grab the helmet. I was going for the wheel. You know, they were waving the red flag as I was putting the helmet back on. So
that explains that partial red flag we had there.
Helmet flew straight off. So
we were wondering about that.
Yep.
Let me check with my booth. Do we have replays? All right. Let's take a minute. We'll show some replays here on the screen for you, and you can walk us through them, Jon. Just let us know what you were thinking. Working on Heinen's caddy here. You had Dusty helping you out.
Just trying to get that wheel laid over.
Joey Braun realized at some point that things might not be going in their favor, and he started really turning it up.
Correct, yep.
Were you worried at all?
No, just got to keep moving. I was like, we get wheels, and let's, you know, get on the side of them. Heavy cars, you know, I didn't think we'd be able to beat them nose to nose or anything like that. You had to take the wheels off them. So
how key was it here? We talked about it. Bob went up on the wall right out of the chute. You guys were able to get him back off the wall.
If the camera would have been the other way, Blum was going in there, but I was coming right behind him. Either way, I was coming to get him off. So
that you know, that mindset and that observance to be able to see that happening and to be able to get up there, I think that's another key thing in these team events, to keep yourself at full strength.
Yeah. And then when Bob got pushed over that other wall, I said, Bob, you know, I really would like to come over and get you, but right now I think I'll screw myself if I even try, so I'm going to have to leave you there.
And that's experience talking. You know, we've all been in situations like that. You have to assess the situation and see if you're getting suckered into a trap.
Yeah, I couldn't find myself. I looked at it 3 times. I'm like, I can't find myself driving through that to get out of there with, you know, somebody would follow me in and I'd be parked right next to him. So,
and somebody of lesser experience sees your captain over in trouble, you're probably going to get him. But you called it. Sometimes when you do that, you're taking a bigger risk, or you're going to take a shot getting it done if you get it done.
Correct.
John, we had a lot of new viewers here this weekend, people that are newer to the sport. So we tried to be a little bit more educational, but I was talking to Hobbs as well, who's kind of a rookie driver here, and just explaining some of the deals where you have to keep your head about you and think 3 steps ahead at this level.
Yep.
Is that something that you're consciously looking ahead to, or is it just instinct at this point?
As you derby longer and longer, you that's something that grows on you. I feel like I'm watching the track more, and I'm probably watching a lot of other stuff. Like my dash bar in my car this weekend was a little higher. Absolutely hated it. I could not see my tires. I had no clue if a guy was in on my tire with the bumper or anything. I couldn't see anything through the firewall, but I also got burnt, so I wanted to keep as much firewall and everything blocked as much as I could because I did not want to have a radiator hose blow me again. So, but it all worked out.
There's a perfect example of talking about driving through what we said. 2 guys had the sandwich. You drove right through it. It got a little bit of damage, but not much that you could have gotten.
What rear end are you running in that car?
It's a Postal.
So, best of the best. Postals are probably the most widely known reliable rear end. Right up there with Impact are your products as well. And there's other vendors out there, but were you ever concerned with the back of that car the way it was that you might have an issue with trailing arms or rear end?
Oh, we fought the rear end the whole weekend. With this no hump chain thing, it's a whole new game for us, and every night after the heat, I was 9-wiring, and trying to get the 1-inch bolts back in, and that was probably the biggest struggle besides switching the motor on the first night. That was probably our biggest struggle of the weekend, is keeping the rear end in the car. So
held up for you.
Yeah, before you came on, I shook your hand. I said you literally drove the tires off that car. Any issues with the tires? You feel anything? You said you couldn't see them, but did feel any problems?
I could definitely feel that they were getting chewed up, but they're all bead locked. I wasn't worried one bit about it. Nope.
Got a run left in it, John?
We joke about it, but there's nothing really at the end of the year that I could probably run it at to get one. And honestly, I might just cut the motor and tranny and pull the rear end and leave the rest all together and kind of just set it out at the yard. And
trophy car.
Yeah, something like that. When are you going to ever say that you won a team show for $100,000? And I don't really need anything out of the car. It's all stuff I can make at work. So,
you got local sponsors for Memorial Madness?
We probably ain't going to do that derby. We got to iron out a lot of stuff. It's a lot of work. It really is.
Yeah.
You guys know how much is behind the scenes and everything. And I got, I got a family, and I just bought a Part City. I got NLR. I got NLR rentals. I got more stuff than I even know what the hell to do with. And, promoting derbies and trying to make everybody happy on that side of it, and then trying to sell them parts on the other side. I think it's easier to sell them parts and keep them happy that side than it is to try to bring something big to the drivers. And personally, I'd rather go run the show than put it on. So I'm hoping somebody kind of picks it up and wants to do it, because someday I'd like to run it close to home. We're always traveling 15, 10, 9, 8, 6. It's nothing ever hour or two that pays $10,000, $5,000, $6,000. That is a bigger show. So
sure.
I can see it in your face. You're tired. Mm-hmm. It's about the end. But you told us before we came on, there's no rest for the weary. Your schedule coming up. You're chasing a point series. Talk quickly about that.
Entered into the Unified Point Series. Santel passed me last weekend, so we're going home and we're finishing cars to go to Gold Rush. And if we can't seal it in that, we might have to go to Blizzard Bash. I don't know how it's going to work yet, but probably ain't going to run it next year. So this is my one in a lifetime opportunity. So we got to get it done.
We're rooting for you. Get that done. Another one in a lifetime. You're the first demo champion, $100,000, part of Bob Whitaker's team. Super proud.
Yeah, thank you.
Team NLR.
Yeah.
Does it feel weird to hear it called Bob Whitaker's team when it's named NLR?
No, because Bob called me about this idea, and this is the weirdest thing ever that any driver probably would ever say. I said, I don't know. Give me a couple days to think about it. Bob Whitaker calls you, says, hey, you want to run a team show? 9 times out of 10, the guy's gonna say, hell yeah, when, where, what? I'm like, I don't know. Let me see what I can come up with. Because I was like, I know my schedule is gonna be busy and stuff, so I gotta make sure I'm gonna be 100%. Otherwise, I don't want to commit. So
that speaks a lot to your character.
Yeah.
I think maybe you were just playing a little hard to get.
No, we talked it over, and then I come back and I text him like, I swear to God, it was like 2 days later. I'm like, let's do it. So,
Jon, I'm not going to keep you any longer here, man. You guys already left it all on the track here for us, heart and soul. Who do you want to shine a light on? This is your spotlight. I know you're going to probably forget somebody.
I'm going to forget a lot of people, but one guy I gotta say is little Joe Moman. He built my car. I finished it. He did body cage, did the welded doors, did the trunk. He does awesome work. So
it's a team effort.
And then everybody here this weekend and everybody at home, Krusty, Mike, all them guys, everybody in the shop. I got it back from Joe. We spent 2-3 days just hammering out. We made some new product for it, which worked really awesome. Took a whole day of work just to do that, as we're still shipping parts and everything else. So you got to fit it all in. Everybody worked their tail off, Ashton. There's so many people, there is. I'd like to say that, you can come down here and do this with 1 or 2 people, but you can't. It takes a big group of guys, and all want the same thing, want to win at the end of the weekend. So,
Jon, last thing here, just something to take home with you. Your driving style, keeping that momentum, staying moving, not becoming a target, is what won you that show. Keep that momentum going into your next shows.
Yep, will do.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
The Wildcard, Jon Mewes.
Yep,
Team NLR, congratulations.
Jon Mewes, Team NLR, right here. I'll get you with that hat. That's the killer one right there. That's what keeps the sun off you, Hobbs. I mean, you don't need sunblock with a hat like that.
That's a Wildcard hat right there, and that's a $100,000 hat. Well done by Jon Mewes.
I just wanted to shake the hand that held a $100,000 check.